right, hi everybody. We are back with another Monday lesson, and today is part two of expanding your groove on the bass. All right, so if you have not checked out part one, please go back and do that. Just click on the channel there and go back and find the lesson from last week, and just check out what we were talking about here. All right, so like I said, today is part two, so we're just going to go on and get started. So we're using the pentatonic scale, right, to expand our groove on the bass and just to help us when we get locked into some of those one chord vamps, two chord jams, or whatever, where we don't have as many options as to how to get from one chord to the next chord to the next chord when we have a song with a lot of change in it, right? So what do we do? How can we expand that and still, not be out of line as far as what we're playing? All right. So today I have a backing track here, just a drummer laying down a simple groove that can be in that pop funk kind of category, right? And so we're going to look at playing with the bass player, playing with the kick drum, playing off of the drummer, right? And how to just do some different things that fit into the groove. So we have a couple different demonstrations of how we can just incorporate those five notes in the pentatonic scale into our grooves, all right? So let's listen to what's being played here, and then we're going to dive into some demonstration, all right? So here we go. All right, so pretty simple groove, right? It's in time, it's feeling good. All right, so the kick is pretty consistent, right? Giving us this nice kind of strong beat groove, right, on 1 and 3. Right, not quite 4 on the floor, but just kind of keeping it open, but keeping it solid. All right, so we want to play with that, we want to play off of that. All right, so how do we incorporate these five notes? Well, I'm just going to show you staying on the one. We're going to be in key of C again. All right, we're going to stay on the one for right now. I'm not going to do too much of the pentatonic scale yet, but we're going to use those last two notes, the 5 and the 6. All right, we're going to pay attention to the phrasing. All right, and use those two notes to kind of lead us back into the start of the groove. All right, using those notes as kind of a lead in, right? When you're looking at licks, when you're looking at setups, and some other ways you can do this, you want to think about phrasing. You don't want to be all over the place. You want to be very particular about how we use this. All right, so pay attention to where I put it. All right, so we look at that example, right? Stayed heavily on the one, but I used a lot of what that exercise benefits from last week, just working on speeding up those two fingers, right? Adding what's called inner beats into the groove, right? Which helps add some more feel, add some more presence there. Because if I'm just hanging on one note, it can be kind of boring, right? But when I get to adding, even sometimes where I did doubles or times where it was just nothing, it just helped add some of that groove, right? There's a lot more information there, a lot more groove there, right? A lot more feel there than just. coming from keeping those fingers moving, right? All right, so that's one way you can do it. All right, and in that example, I kind of stayed on the one a lot. All right, so usually we look at the pentatonic scale and we think licks. We think, all right, I'm gonna throw in a pentatonic lick here and here and here and to get us back. But we're gonna look at how to break that up. All right, if we were to play kind of like over a C major, or a C major 6, or a C major 7, or something like that, right? Even a C dominant 7, you'll hear me play this B flat, but dominant, not minor, right? Dominant. You might hear me throw that in there a couple times because that happens too. All right, how to use all 5 notes in your groove without it being busy. All right, but just to add some interesting options to what you're playing. All right, so check it out. All right, so a lot of different ways to go. All right, a lot of different ways to go. If you have any more questions about what I'm doing, please leave it in the comments. All right, there's so much to talk about on what just happened. Right, as we're talking about playing with the drummer, playing off of the drummer. There's, especially with a groove as open as this, there's a lot of different ways you can go. Right, you can lock right in, but still keep it interesting and increase your note choice. Right, or you can kind of get a little busier. Use some of those inner beats that we talked about, whether you do doubles and triples, or whether you just do some ghost notes. Right, stuff like that to kind of help the groove, help that feel, whatever feel you're trying to accomplish. All right, did a lot of different examples, so there's a lot of stuff to dive in with. All right, but that is how you use the pentatonic scale to increase some options to expand your groove on the bass. Any questions, leave a comment, email, message me, all right? And let's talk about it. Maybe I'll do another lesson next week. Whatever you guys need, all right? So, work on these things, incorporate them into your playing, all right? And I will see you all next.